it's me, Jojo Revival here, and I am answering some of your guys' questions today. I put up a Q&A on my Instagram account for all of you guys to ask me any questions about the album, any questions about myself that you want to know, and here I am to tell you the answers. So, first question, how are you feeling about the release of this album? 100% satisfied, love the album, love the way it sounds. Some of the tracks on there I really connect with on a brand new level. I think it's just, personally for me, it's so touching, it goes so close to my heart. Some of the stuff that I write about in there and some of the themes that are discussed in that album really do mean an awful lot to me. And I really did kind of sit down for a long time and think about how it's going to sound, how I want the words to be portrayed, how I want the vocal melodies to come out. And it's just been an absolutely fantastic ride, and I've learned so much about myself, so much about music, different ideas, different scales, different riffs, different ways of saying something, different ways of seeing something, different ways of playing something. It's just been an absolutely brilliant experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And yes, I would love to do another album. How well has the recording process gone? For me, in my opinion, the recording process has gone fantastically. It was quick, it was swift, it was easy. It allowed me to really have a look at what sort of sound I want to go for. I started off the album with a heavier sound in mind. On the bonus edition of the album, if you head on over to the website, you can hear that. There's a track on there called Haunted House. Haunted House is actually the first track that I recorded for the album. That was going to be the sound of the album. It was going to be a dark, gloomy, deep sound of the album, like loads of hard-hitting riffs. And after doing that track, I did mine. Mine was the second track that I recorded for the album, and honestly, it completely changed the way I wanted that album to sound, because mine is such a higher octane, better, in my opinion, it spoke more about what I wanted the album to sound like, how I wanted that album to be portrayed, and how I wanted myself to be portrayed. So I decided to not put Haunted House on the album and completely change the album sound, because I preferred that sound, and I went for the more higher, what's the word I'm looking for? Better feel-good factor. I'm looking for the better feel-good factor, the nicer different scales and things like that, the more happy scales, major scales. It's a feel-good album. It's a fantastic album, and I absolutely love making it. Did you have any issues along the way? Any down moments? Yes. So, creating anything, you're going to have some ups and downs, especially something as close to my heart as this album. So I got halfway through, and I think I just did, it must have been Rock and Roll Ain't Dead I started with. So we're about halfway through and we're on Rock and Roll Ain't Dead, and the song, I started messing about with the software that I was using, and the song didn't sound how I wanted it to sound. I couldn't do things that I wanted to do on my own. Where I record, write, play everything on my own and just multi-track it in the software, I couldn't figure out, or I didn't want that sound in there. So I ended up changing it. And where you change it so much and you start guessing it and you can't get the track done in a day, and I like doing one track a day. Once it's in my mindset, once it's in my head, I love to finish it. It has to be finished that day. It has to be finished when I say it's finished, when I say it's done. If I want to come back to it later and add a couple of bits or take a couple of bits away, that's absolutely fine. But the bulk of the track has to be there, because what if I was to come back to it, or what if something was to happen to the track and it couldn't be there anymore? So, Rock and Roll Ain't Dead, I started with a drum beat and some stuff like that, and it just wasn't sitting right. And I kept trying. I thought, well, maybe this isn't going to be the sound. Maybe this isn't going to be the track that I want it to be. It's got to be a hard-hitting opener for the album, and I just really struggled to write that song. So I came away from it for a couple of days. I wrote Highway. We did the music video for Highway, and I really felt a lot better about myself, about how I wanted the album to sound, again with the happy, more upbeat riffs and things like that. So I decided to finish Rock and Roll Ain't Dead, and I scrapped the original drum beat and I put in something else, the one that's on the track on the album now, and it sounded so much better, absolutely so much better. And that is the track how it stands now. The next question is, what is your favourite track from the album? My favourite track from the album? That's such a hard question. Probably Highway. Because Highway speaks volumes to me in the fact that it really came from the heart. everything I wrote about on that album really came from the heart, and I really thought about what I want. And where we're in this time at the moment where everyone's in isolation and things like that, and we're all struggling a bit, and sometimes it's just nice to go out for a bit of a drive, just to clear your head, just to find out what things really mean to you and how to put your life into perspective. And I did that, and whilst doing that I came up with the idea for Highway, and I was like, I need to write a song about driving to clear your head, and that is what Highway is, and that is why it's probably my favourite track. What are some of the themes behind the songs? Okay, so we've got loads of themes behind the songs, loads of themes. Voice break. The best song I can describe to you with a key theme would probably be Mine. Mine is, it's hard to explain, it's a creation of all my thoughts, feelings, anxieties and things like that. And overall how that all comes together, and right at the end of the track where you get the nice high riff, high octane, classic kind of rock sound, which ultimately is obviously in a major key, therefore that would be positive. The fact that you can discuss things, so your thoughts and everything else, all the dark things that everyone thinks in this awful time, and all the things that you miss, you're upset about, and how I've got one thing that I can personally be thankful for, and you know, and that's what that song is about, and being thankful for the things that we are thankful for. That is a sentence and a half, isn't it? Wow. So yeah, that's it. Thank you everyone for putting in your questions. I hope you've enjoyed the Q&A session today. I've been JJ Revival, you've been you, and I'll see you all next time.